Growing up, I've always felt like I needed to follow the crowd or do what others were doing in order to feel as if I belong or as if I was normal. And so I want to talk about how I did something that I followed my gut. I did what I felt was right instead of doing what other people were doing, and how it led to a really good outcome. So this story is about a homeless man who was bitten by a snake at a public park, and we were hiking, my family and I noticed that he was in pain, and I noticed that everyone was walking away and ignoring him. No one seemed to care. No one was worried about him. He just looked like a crazy man. And I was stressed about him. I was worried about him. I wanted to check on him. But my parents, they told me, they're like, no, let the park ranger take care of it. Like, we gotta go. We have to go to dinner. And my aunt, she also felt like we needed to do something. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have done anything. But I felt in my gut that something wasn't right. So my aunt, she grabbed me and she said, let's go check on him. We went to go check on him. The park ranger showed up. The park ranger didn't care about this guy. He didn't care about his issues or anything. He just wanted him out the park. So all he did was call the cops. We were angry, and we were giving the man water. We were making sure he was okay. We were checking out his foot. Turned out he was bitten by a snake, and his foot was very swollen. My aunt, she works as a flight attendant, so the first thing she felt that she needed to do was call the ambulance. So I called the ambulance. While I was on the phone, I noticed that people were ignoring this man in the beginning. Nobody cared about this guy. They just walked away, went on with their lives. But the second my aunt and we checked on this man and made sure he was okay, we noticed that people started coming up to us. People started coming up to the man, making sure he's okay. They were giving him water. They were giving him food. They kept asking who's calling the ambulance. They were checking on this man. And I realized if it wasn't for my aunt and if it wasn't for us stepping up, making sure this man was okay, people still would have walked away. Nobody would have checked on this man at all. Nobody would have seemed to care at all. And so I felt like that was a really big issue, and I am so happy and grateful that we went with our guts, because if not, this man could have died, and we definitely didn't want that at all, and I definitely didn't want that on my conscience. And I think that going with my gut and going against the crowd helped save this man for sure, and he's okay. We know that now, but I do want to highlight the fact that you don't have to follow the crowd. You know, you could be that one person to make that change and make that difference, and it'll definitely lead to a really bigger and much better outcome sometimes, you know, depending on the situation. So yeah.